Hello again, and thank you to everyone who are watching. I'm Dr. Richie Ann Rodriguez, and I'm the founder and medical director of Dermal Defense Corneotherapy Clinic. So, on this part two of our Be Sun Sensible series, we continue to review basic concepts about sun safety as we raise awareness for skin cancer this month of May. Last week, we discussed how necessary it is for a sunscreen formulation to have maximum coverage from both UVA and UVB radiation. This week, we're talking about what types of sunscreens are available to us. So, how do you choose the right sunscreen? Well, first, we need to know that all sunscreens essentially boil down to two types, the chemical and the physical sunscreens. So the chemical sunscreens typically absorb UV rays for a set period of time. The concern with some of these on the market is their absorption capacity and their ability to potentially spread the heat that they absorb into living tissue. And as we know, some are reef disruptors, some can act as irritants, and some do have cancer-causing potential. There are even some studies showing that they can be absorbed in the bloodstream and secreted in the urine and breast milk. It's not to say that they're bad, but the ones that are available to us that have been around for years are filled with some controversy. So some examples are avobenzone, octinoxate, oxybenzone, and Mexoril. Don't get me wrong, I'm personally not anti-organic filters or chemical sunscreens. I just think that the ones available to us in North America are kind of outdated and have potential unwanted thermal damage or inflammatory characteristics. But the EU, they do have very promising filters that they just released, like Uvinol A and Tinosorb. These are some that I'm really intrigued by because they act like particles that just sit on the surface of the skin and don't get absorbed. And they act like antioxidants, so they're much more photostable. Of course, Europe, as always, is a little bit ahead of the curve. And then we have physical sunscreens. And globally, there are only two sources of these, zinc oxide and titanium dioxide. These particles work like a shield. They scatter and reflect harmful UV rays away from the skin. So picture them like tiny mirrors reflecting the radiation. So physical sunscreens are great for sensitive skin with very little irritation around the eyes, and they're also environmentally acceptable. And also with the newer technology, that reduces some of the white residue that we see on the skin. That white residue actually shows their extreme capacity to reflect light. So these physical sunscreens also have soothing anti-inflammatory properties and have reduced irritation potential. So here we have a publication by the FDA, a portion of which summarizes the standard by which they review the sunscreens that are out there in the market. This standard is called GRACE, short for Generally Recognized as Safe and Effective. Notice that the physical sunscreens, zinc oxide and titanium dioxide, are under Category 1, the leftmost side of the screen, which means safe to use. And if you look at the rightmost side of the screen, or the column, the chemical sunscreens fall under Category 3, which means they have insufficient evidence for safety and require further studies. So the bottom line is, for best results, choose a physical sunscreen that contains zinc oxide or titanium dioxide or both. I personally use the Taizo 3 brand because it gives a primer-like finish, so when I use it, I can get away without putting a foundation or powder. While my favorite to put on my 9-year-old is the Taizo Ultra Zinc, which has a higher amount of zinc oxide. It contains 20%, which is great to use for his sensitive skin. He has eczema, and we've tried so many high-end brands in our local organic store, but he still ended up scratching because his skin was irritated from the chemicals even after we've washed him off. I mean, there's going to be a lot of products out there that you're going to love. Just make sure they are physical sunscreens. by looking at the label, so you can be sure to enjoy maximum protection from the harmful rays of the sun. And if you find those ingredients which are in category 3, then maybe it's time to make a switch. So I hope this mini presentation helped in your understanding of the differences between physical and chemical sunscreens and how your choice of product should be based on its ability to provide a broad spectrum protection from both UVA and UVB, and of course, its safety profile. This is the second in a series of presentation about sun safety. Next week, I'll be sharing with you tips on choosing the right SPF. So thank you so much for joining me today. If this is your first time hearing about us, we are an aesthetic practice focusing on natural collagen formation. We help skin-conscious individuals optimize the health of their skin in the fastest and most natural way, which is through the use of the right types of growth factors in dermal needling. And there are 3 things we absolutely guarantee. The first is stewardship. I personally do the procedure, and your skin journey is closely monitored by me. I take it upon myself to educate my clients about the health of their skin, so I can empower them to make better decisions. We offer superior quality, backed by the scientific and medical fields. We only use the correct types of growth factors harvested from mesenchymal bone marrow stem cells. And I am proud to say we are sure to deliver on the promise of quick results in the least invasive way. So if you know of someone who you feel will find our services of value to them, please feel free to contact us through any of these ways. By our email, our phone number, our website, and you can find us on Facebook, and we can get things started from there. Of course, they don't need to become a client. I will simply find time to answer any questions they may have. Okay, so we've come to the end of our slide. Thank you, everyone, and make sure you're well protected out there. See you at next week's episode. Bye.